Good morning, good evening, good all the things. Hi, I am Catie Brannon, and this is Tea Time True Crime with Catie. So tonight's story is kind of well known. It's actually, I found this story on Netflix, of all places, because recent years Netflix has been going down. But I found this while trying to watch some, funny movies or trash TV, because sometimes you want to watch something funny and not really sad. So let me know down in the comments below what your fun stuff that you want to watch. I love Adam Sandler movies, Jim Carrey, goofy movies sometimes when I have to have like a mental break, because that is very important to take care of your mental health. Well, didn't do it. I ended up watching, it's 3 episodes of Bad Surgeon, Love Under the Knife. And let me tell you, I was floored. I couldn't even believe this surgeon. I don't even want to call him a surgeon, because so many things happened that turned out that he was just a big phony. I know, you guys, it's very hard to say. That's kind of mean, but like when I bring in the receipts and talk about this case, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, Catie. And I'd be like, I know. Well, first off, hey, if it's your first time joining my channel, hey, what's going on? Welcome, my true crime kitty cat. So on this channel, what we do is mostly talk about dark things, true crime, but in a very positive vibe kind of way. I have beautiful crystals surrounding me, and I also have lit white candles behind me just for all the good vibes, because even though we talk about horrific things, sad things, I want people to, receive this information in a positive way. Like, you gotta find something positive about these horrific crimes. This one, technically, apparently from a lot of other people, it wasn't a crime, but I want you guys to decide. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this case. This video, there is no sponsor, but I like to do a shout out to other YouTube channels. I have recently been watching PodcastShow. He is a musician, and I feel horrible because I have not listened to his music yet, but I love his deep dives. PodcastShow, he basically, I had no idea that Joji is Filthy Frank, or Filthy Frank is Joji. Yeah. If you don't know who Joji is, you are totally missing out, okay? He is, it's like, I listen to him before I go to bed, or when I'm like really stressed out about something. It's kind of trip hop. I know, it's a new genre, I never heard of it, trip hop. And it's like hip hop with like kind of electronic kind of sounding music. With like the synth sounds and just it's like, how like the Weeknd sounds. But Joji, and he writes his stuff, he produces it. He's like the real deal. But I had no idea that he was, Filthy Frank, which was a YouTube personality in like 2012 and so on. He was the pink guy. Yeah. From the Harlem Shake video. I was like, what? But PodcastShow, hey dude, if you're watching, his deep dives are very well done. I really appreciate them. And he's just a YouTuber who I respect. I have not seen his older videos. Someone told me that he's been around for a long time, but I have not seen his older ones. Not yet. But his deep dives are on point. So don't totally check him out. And when you look at his info, man, if that doesn't give you inspiration to follow your dreams, I don't know what would. Like, legit. But yeah, shout out to PodcastShow. I respect and love your channel, man, and I look forward to more content. So yeah, if you guys like deep dives, sometimes celebrity gossip, celebrity news, or just, he does all kinds of deep dives on all kinds of people. Definitely check him out. He did a really good one with Dane Cook. Wasn't happy with the ending, though, of that one. Not you, Patrick, just, yeah. you'll understand when you watch it. He did one on Matt Rife. I saw him live, and he was very funny. Very, very, very funny. He worked the crowd very well, but he also had like an hour monologue of his own stuff, so he doesn't do just crowd work. But yeah, he was extremely, extremely funny. I definitely want to take my partner next time to see him, but it was just me and my girl, and we just had a total blast. So yeah, I go on a tangent, but yeah, guys, a YouTuber deep dives, Patrick CC. All right, let's buckle up. Here we go. Paolo Macchiarini was born August 22nd, 1958. That makes him technically a Virgo, but a cusp of a Leo. He was born, I believe, in Basel, Switzerland. He is a thoracic surgeon, researcher, superstar surgeon. I mean, this guy, to many, many people, was the real deal. Until he wasn't. Paolo was very respected by so many people, and he was praised for doing this amazing medical research. And he just, I mean, it's unbelievable, you guys. The best thing I can say, though, that he conned a relationship with this NBC journalist. She's a producer, very respected in her field, and she was just floored at what she found out about her fiance. By 2013, Benita Alexander was the NBC journalist producer. She was just a very, like I said, very respected in her field. Now, she had to do a documentary for Dateline about, you know, this superstar surgeon, which is, I don't want to say doctor, sorry, but Paolo. And, you know, she quickly said that when she looked at him and they looked at each other, she felt like a spark. And she was thinking, "Oh, what is that? What's going on there?" And she wanted to keep it to herself because, you know, you can't, it's kind of ethics and it's not professional to fall in love with the subject that you are researching and doing some kind of documentary with. So they kept their flirtation kind of like, you know, nothing's gonna happen. But then when you watch the documentary, you see how things progress, and then finally they couldn't help it and they just became, you know, consensual adults, just fell in love with one another. And when you watch the documentary, he loved bombed her. I mean, he flew her around the world. He took her to the finest restaurants, and he bought her like the most exquisite gifts. He was extremely loving on the phone, sending her messages. It was just like she felt she was a princess. I mean, he spoiled her to no end. Now, this Benita Alexander, she was not, you know, people portray her to be kind of, I hate to say it, dumb, you know, but I'm telling you, she was not dumb. She, in fact, worked she was a producer for Dateline from 1998 to 2014. She also won 2 Emmys and received 7 Emmy nominations. I feel like that's very impressive. She was married to another reporter, and they share a daughter together. And he was a reporter named John Knoll. And sadly, the marriage did not work out, but they made a beautiful daughter named Jacina in 2003. But they divorced in 2009. Now, even though they were divorced and stuff like that, you know, something horrible happened to Benita's ex. Sadly, in 2013, just a few years after the divorce, Knoll died of brain cancer. Yeah. So you see how the time is going to where Paolo comes into her life? Okay. So you guys know she's educated. She has a successful job, a beautiful daughter. She lost her ex-husband, and I feel even though that's her ex, they were married once, there's feelings there, and, you know, he died a brutal death, honestly. So when she was interviewing Paolo, I'm sure outside of the interviewing process and for the, super surgeon documentary, the miracle whatever, they were working on for him was that they would actually talk, and she opened up to him. So when she opened up to him, again, she didn't think that there would be like a relationship. But like she said, when she saw him, she felt like a shock, which is, I feel like that's chemistry, you guys. So that's 2013. She interviews Paolo. Forgive me, guys. I'm not the best at names. Sorry about that. No disrespect. So this doctor guy, she's in a very vulnerable state right now. And he's a superstar surgeon, and she's a beautiful woman. She really is. And he seduces her, and she was very weary at first. In fact, they had kind of like this love, not really like an affair, just like, just like a whimsical romance. There we go. A whimsical romance. But it took her some time to actually tell her friends and family. And man, when they did, they were very happy for her. Because he was loved. Like, he was the type of dude that walked into a room. He was very gregarious, charismatic, talked very intelligently. He even spoke, like, I believe 5 or 6 languages. He was Italian descent. And, that shouldn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, I'm guessing everyone mentions that he's the Italian doctor that was born in Switzerland. So, but he was very, very respected in the institute in Sweden. So you guys are probably wondering, like, okay, Catie, why is he a super surgeon? Like, why are they doing a story? Well, not only he was a surgeon, but he was a thoracic surgeon. And he claimed something that totally defied odds. And I really, really wish it worked. But it didn't. What he would do is take some kind of plastic, it's literally made of plastic bottles, and he would put a patient's stem cells all around this kind of plastic made organ, and it was a windpipe. Yes, trachea. And he believed anyone who had either any kind of cancer of the trachea, something wrong with their windpipe, or there have been people that were in car accidents and their voice box was damaged. Just something, they really needed help with their windpipe. So he said that I could go in the patient and do surgery and put my plastic windpipe in a patient, and they will live a better life. They will have a better chance at living. And as I said, guys, it did not work. So while that is going on, Paolo is still seeing Benita, and she is falling head over heels, okay? And she starts to realize that, they're about to come out with this documentary of, because they would follow patients and they would say their stories and how much he'd help them. And it was amazing. But then she would get like a text or messages saying that, well, they passed away. These certain patients have passed away. Before we go on, today's tea, because his tea time is, it's a little strong, salted caramel, and it's in my Nightmare on Elm Street, which is very fitting because these patients lived a total nightmare. Now, 8 patients they used the synthetic windpipe, and all of them except one patient ended up passing away. And the only reason why that patient didn't pass away was because they removed the synthetic windpipe. Now, we're going to go back to Benita and Paolo. So, things are going really well for the lovebirds. He actually does this kind of really low maintenance proposal. Not that it was on Christmas, but he didn't really go on one knee. She just opened up a beautiful black box, and there was a ring, and she just looked at him, and the look was like, is this what I think it is? And he nodded, and she was so excited, and he said yes. He also said that ring was worth over $100,000. Now, things are going very well. She's extremely happy, and they're talking about the wedding plans. And Paolo is like, you let me take care of everything. I just want you to enjoy you getting ready for the wedding. Go get wedding dresses. I mean, it was a huge affair, you guys, because you got to remember, Paolo is like this super surgeon. And when I mean super surgeon, I mean he would disappear on Benita on like New Year's or just like random. And he would say it's emergency for work. He said he had these very high profile clients. He even name dropped, BC not BC, excuse me. Yep. Bill Clinton. He name dropped him. Also OB or BO. Yeah, see, dyslexia is real, guys. Barack Obama. And he was saying that he had all these high profile clients. And, it seemed to make sense to her because they're doing this documentary, and he literally is flown everywhere around the United States helping people, and just made this amazing science, like this advancement in medical science. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that he had to go dip out early randomly and all that. But, yeah. Stuff starts to hit the fan close to the wedding. Yeah, you guys. So Paolo is telling her not to worry, but that he really wants a Catholic wedding. And if you're not sure about Catholicism, she was not Catholic. So if you are not Catholic, you cannot be married in a church. Plus, if you are a divorcee, you cannot be married in the Catholic Church. But Paolo, no problem. He knows the Pope. Yep. And he is going to make sure the Pope marries them. And she's like, what? And he goes, yep. And we're going to be in a castle. And it was like a royal wedding. The guests were like over 300. I know. The invitations were beautiful. There was like this beautiful white box with like gold ribbon. And it's just really nice for the wedding invitations. And he was so excited. He knew apparently the Beckhams, David and Victoria Beckham, and, the Clintons, and, the Obamas, and Elton John is going to play at their wedding. I know. John Legend is going to be there. Pretty insane event. Absolutely. And he just love is blind, y'all. Love is blind. She was blinded, you guys. But her thing that she loved was to dance. And so what he did, he secretly got salsa lessons and just went to like a restaurant where there was dancing, and he grabbed her and he salsa danced with her. And she just thought that was like the most amazing thing, that he actually learned how to salsa dance, which that sounds like a rom-com or just something that is like kind of unreal. I don't know. I feel like if someone really is that like love bombing with gifts, the trips, the money, the places, 5-star hotels, it just seems like, what are you compensating for, dude? Or I might just be being judgmental Judy. I don't know. But I'm saying that like she gets the wool pulled from under her eyes, you guys. Like, She is devastated. Now, I think it was a month before the wedding, people already bought tickets to go to Barcelona, Italy. And it was a 4-day affair. So she has all these wedding dresses that she's changing into. I mean, like I said, it was a wedding of the, whoa, okay? Well, then she gets this text from a really good friend of hers and said, the Pope is not going to be at your wedding. He's actually going to be in South America during these dates. She was supposed to get married, forgive me guys, July 15th, 2016. It was in July. Yeah. July 11th or July 15th. Sorry guys, it's one of those 2 days. So when she got that information, she was so upset. She called Paulo and was like, what is the meaning? What is happening? Who are you? She was just so upset. And he just was nonchalant and was like, don't worry. The other Pope is he just had some BS excuse. Saying that the other Pope is trying to undermine Pope Francis or something like that. And that was when she realized that, oh my gosh, is there even a wedding? So actually, it was one of the patient's family, because even though one of the patients died under his care, yeah, the family were friends with him because they truly believed that he really did try to help their son, until all the stuff came out and they saw all the deaths. They were like, wow, we were fooled. We were tricked. Yeah. One of the mothers of the patients that passed away called the hotel, and they have no idea what they're talking about. There is no wedding. There is no venue. There is no room at the castle, the hotel, for all these guests. So everything that Paulo said was a lie. And she, oh my gosh, Benita was just, I can't even imagine how she felt. Because during this time, she quit her job of I believe 14 years or 16 years to go move to Barcelona with Paulo. I was like, oh my gosh, to have her daughter and, to just have her daughter have a relationship with Paulo and him treating her really, really good and everything seemed very happy. She had no idea who the heck this guy was. So her really good friends, they could not get the money back from the tickets, so they actually decided to fly to Barcelona. Yep, they decided to fly to Barcelona and go check out Paulo's house that he has kept hidden from her. Because he said he was in Russia, and she said she was in New York, that just had to have a weekend girlfriend with her friends because she emotionally could not just basically she lied to him too, but her and her friends were flying out to Barcelona to see exactly what he was really hiding. And you guys, I don't even want to imagine. Just, my heart's beating so fast. I don't even want to imagine that, you guys. So she flies to Barcelona, and not only, she actually got a blonde wig and, hid in the vehicle and recorded it. And it's on YouTube. You can watch the recording, and my heart just, stopped because I could not imagine the pain and heartbreak that she went through. She is screaming obscenities, you guys, just heartbroken, because she realizes that not only he is there and he's not in Russia, but a woman is there and children. He had a whole nother family, and she had no idea at all. And she figured everything that Paulo ever told her was a lie. So, of course, her journalist brain turns on and she's like, well, if he's lying about this, what else is he lying about? And man, I'm going to go over just a few of the patients. I'll go over the main ones that are in the documentary, but I will say their names the best I can. Remember, he was a world-known surgeon. This isn't just the United States. This is Sweden, Italy, Russia, Switzerland. Oh my God, like everywhere. It was unbelievable. So Benita is going on a deep dive about who the heck is this Dr. Paolo Macchiarini. Sorry. Kind of sounds like Macarena, doesn't it? A little bit? No disrespect, but it just like all right. So Karolinska Institute is very famous hospital in Sweden. It's actually one of the best in the world. The way I can explain it, I feel I could be wrong, but it's like a John Hopkins hospital, like from the United States, just very respected surgeons and doctors and medical professionals. So in the Karolinska Institute, that is where the surgeon works. That is where, he does all his experiments and stuff like that. So what Benita is realizing is that these patients that he was having this big documentary about him and how grand and awesome he is and what an amazing miracle worker he was, that these patients are gone. Like they are no longer living. And she was ready to take him down because she could not believe, like, not only she was heartbroken, but when she read the family's, like, just the paperwork or just called them, and then even other surgeons, yes, other doctors at the Karolinska Institute was trying to bring Apollo down. I know. And those surgeons were kind of like ostracized. It was really, really sad when they found out that when he did his experiments, he didn't even work on animals first, which I don't believe in harm to animals, even though I'm not a vegetarian or vegan. But that's a whole different thing. I don't believe in like torture of animal. All right, sorry. Okay, so what scientists do, you guys, before they test humans, is they test animals, I'm afraid. He did not test on any animals. He went right to humans. Like his first guy, he was the guinea pig. Yeah. What I'm about to talk about, you guys, is going to be pretty gruesome. But I want these patients to have a voice. Because I feel like it wasn't just a mishandling or just like, hey, it's an experiment. I put it in. It didn't work. Oh, well. No. If you put an experiment of something in someone and they pass away, okay, it's experiment. They probably signed a whole buttload of paperwork. I get that. But if you keep on doing it to people, and then after he would do the surgery on people, do you think he would stay and help them recover? No. He would dip. He would leave and have his assistants or other medical professionals like try to help the patient. And these patients didn't live very long. Some lived longer than others, but when they lived, they were in extreme amount of pain. Now, before Paolo put these trachea fake plastic windpipes in patients, he actually was a thoracic surgeon, and he did help a few people, apparently, with just donated tracheas. So I feel like he should have stayed with that, honestly. But Andy Miriam Tekasambet Bayani, totally butchered that. I sorry about that. He was this guy that was diagnosed with cancer, and he was from Iceland. And essentially, he was the guinea pig. He lied to this poor guy and told him all these credentials and all this, experiments and evidence to back everything up. But the fact is, he didn't have anything. It was complete fraud. And this poor guy lost his life. When they put the windpipe in his body, he ended up with a chronic lung infection, a clot in his lung, because this synthetic trachea had come loose. He had received several multiple treatments, and he ultimately passed away in January 2013. Now, this is where it's controversial. He did have cancer. He did have a tumor, and this was an experimental surgery. And maybe Paulo did tell him that. But Paulo did lie about his credentials and his sources, and that is unforgivable. Christopher Lyles was only 30 years old when he passed away. And remember, I told you that Paulo and Benita invited some patient's family to the wedding. This family, the Lyles, Christopher Lyles and his sister and his mom were very, very close, and he loved his daughter so, so much. And sadly, at 30 years old, he was diagnosed with a cancer I wouldn't say it was throat cancer. It was definitely like trachea cancer. And he wanted to live and find a cure. So he found Dr. Paulo. Now, the family, like I said, they knew that it was an experimental process. No one has ever really done it. But like I said, Paulo just really made people believe that this is the right thing to do and that he is going to get it done and everything is going to be great. Right after the surgery, there is video of Christopher smiling, really excited to see his daughter again, but he just passes away a few days later. I know, it's really sad. Like I said, though, in the beginning, the family did not see any ill will toward Paulo, but then now all this is coming out with other patients. They're feeling very, very deceived. One of the patients was Eula Tulik. This one stands out in many people's minds because she pretty much really didn't need the surgery. She did have voice box problems, and she did have tracheostomy, and because of a car accident, but her life was like not in danger at all. But she wanted to get rid of like the hole in her throat and just have better breathing, and she just wanted to have a better life. Now, she talked to Paulo, and she, like I said, was this Russian dancer, very well known. She is in the documentary. She's really, really excited. You see how Paulo is with these patients. He seems, you guys, very loving, very attentive. He listens. He just like seduced these patients. I mean, not like actually seduced you guys, but I feel like just Svengali'd them, honestly. And sadly, in the documentary, this like hit me hard. One of the people that were working on a documentary about this amazing windpipe transplant, he contacted Yulia's mother, and he was like, "Hi, can I please talk to Yulia?" And she was like, "Yeah, you can talk to her, but you have to be dead." And he's like, "What?" And she was explaining how much after the surgery she suffered so bad. Like she was like coughing up pieces of her flesh. Yeah. The actual windpipe collapsed in her body, her trachea. So she pretty much, when the trachea collapses, you guys, the people pretty much suffocated to death. Yeah, they suffocated. She just could not, the mother said she didn't want her daughter to do it at all. But sadly, Yulia ended up passing away. And later, the government found out that Paulo didn't even have a Russian medical license to do anything, not even the procedure. I know. What? Yeah. Really, really sad. The guy who did the documentary, who was, checking up everybody, he was floored. He couldn't even believe it. Because she was in the documentary, and everyone's like, oh, when you're in a documentary, you get to know people, their life, hopes, and dreams, many conversations. And the guy was just like, oh my gosh, she's gone? She died? And then, hearing how the mother said she died a horrible, it was torturous death until she passed away. When she finally passed away, it was a relief. Okay, so before I go any further, so a tracheotomy is a surgical airway management procedure, which consists of making an incision on the anterior aspect, which is the front of the neck, and the opening a direct airway through an incision in the trachea. The resulting hole, when you see people with holes in their throat, can serve independently as an airway, or they put a tracheal tube which allows a person to breathe without the use of a nose or mouth. That just sounds not fun at all. This patient, Hannah Warren, was just a 2-year-old little girl, and she was from Peoria, Illinois, United States, and she was born without a windpipe, which is really sad, and adorable little girl. So he decides, April 2013, to go and do a synthetic windpipe on Hannah Warren. Now, it never healed properly, and due to her requiring a second surgery, she passed away. And that destroyed Benita, because during the documentary that she was filming for Paulo, can't talk, you guys, for Paulo, apologize. Okay, get myself together. Benita just couldn't believe it that the little girl just passed away, because she gave everyone so much hope. She just had this infectious smile and expressions, and when she passed away due to the botched surgery, so what's happening is that when he gets this plastic synthetic windpipe, he says he puts stem cells all in it, so when you put it in your body will grow around it. What is this, the secret garden? Come on. And that's not what happens. Your body pretty much rejects it because it's plastic in your body. And then it starts to move, and it just seems like people are slowly suffocating to death. They cannot breathe. They're in extreme amount of pain. Sadiq Kanan, Dmitry Anogda, Yasim Satir, Alexander Zazula, Yula Tulik, Christopher Lyles, Andamariam Tekelesenebet Bayani, unnamed Russian woman, Kazia Shorten, Scenaria Finn Lynch, Claudia Castillo. Now, just a few of those patients that I have named, they did not have the synthetic windpipe, but 8 of those patients did. And the only one who was alive is Dmitry Anegda. And in June 2014, he was implanted a fully synthetic trachea, but then the implant failed and it was replaced. And that is why he is still alive. My thing is, you guys, I'm all for medical science. I'm for medical research. We need a lot of things done. We need to take risks. I get that. But when you keep taking it over and over and over again and it's not working, you should stop doing it and stop hurting and, killing these people. There are families that are so devastated by this. I mean, absolutely just devastated. Now, this is where you're going to get mad. Now, apparently, since it was experimental and the patients had underlying issues, only I think 1 or 2 of them he received some kind of punishment for. But honestly, you guys, he's up to 2 years in prison for some type of, not assault, but mainly because he fabricated and lied about his credentials. He even made up, not make up the colleges, but he said he went to all these schools and received these degrees, and it was total malarkey, total false. I just don't understand how he could work on people, be a surgeon, if he just BS'd so much. And yeah, no, if you haven't learned, everything he said is a lie. He does not know, the Obamas, he is not high time, he does not have high profile clients. He seems like a hack who is a womanizer, who is a fraud, a narcissist, a love bomber. I don't know. Why did he leave the patients after? He's there the whole time, talking to them, and it's very, very touching, you guys. You're just oh my God, this doctor is amazing. He cares about people. But then when you hear the other surgeons and the other medical professionals that he just dips, and they have to see these innocent people suffering, that's too cruel for school, man. That is just, yeah. I pray that the patients are at peace. They're definitely not in pain anymore. I hope not. And he's a monster. I just don't understand how you think it's okay to put plastic in people. I kind of got the stem search and that seed research he talked about, when the other surgeons said there was nothing. He was literally just putting plastic in their bodies. What? Oh my gosh. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is a very weird one. And in fact, I feel that the crime is still pending. If you want more information, definitely watch that Netflix special, Bad Surgeon, Love Under the Knife. I wasn't expecting half the stuff in that documentary. But I think he really needs to be held accountable. And I know people are saying, well, it's experimental. The family knew. But I don't think they knew he lied about his credentials, where he went to school. He was the ultimate BSer. Come on. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye.